what do we expect our county to look like as a voter in the next 2 years?
Well, I checked the projections. We don't have the final census data. They just completed the census now, and they're just submitting it and whatnot. But the projections are that DeSoto County will increase by about 42% from the year 2000 to the year 2010. And that's probably pretty close because they had tracked the numbers through 2008 or so the projections aren't very much. So we feel pretty comfortable that you'll go up about 42%. Now, and as far as numbers goes, that's about 40,000 people, more people than what you had. They have the largest increase of any county, DeSoto County does. And after that, it was like Rankin and Lamar counties were two of the other growth areas in the state. It appears on the projections that the Delta will lose about 10% population this coming year. What that does is when you have that type of an increase, as you look at the legislative, you should anticipate that this county would have an increase of possibly 2 members of the House, possibly 1 Senate district would come to DeSoto County in addition to what you already have. So your delegation would be enlarged by those. The projections are approximately 3 million people in the state of Mississippi, so you can divide it by 52, and that'll give you the number of senators, which is around 25,000. And you can divide it by 122, which would give you, about 50,000, and then 122 into that number will give you the actual number that you need for members of the House of Representatives. If you take 3 million people and divide it by 52 seats, and you get roughly 55,000 per seat. And that number is not an absolute number, of course. We have deviations that come from just the necessity for drawing the districts and whatnot. But that will give you an average number of what ought to be in each senatorial seat. To have one person have one vote on one senator, it makes sense that you would have if everything worked in a perfect world, you'd have the exact number of voters in each and every one of the 52 Senate seats. Of course, that doesn't occur because of a lot of different reasons, and there's some room for deviation up or down. But it shouldn't be great. You shouldn't see like one district having 45,000 and one having 65,000. That would be too great of a variation to allow people to have one vote for their one senator who has their one vote. So we'll try to keep them focused as much as we can on a reasonable allocation based upon the normal geographical and political voting patterns. And this is further complicated, or the formula is, by the fact that we have to submit it to the Department of Justice. And the projections are that Mississippi's mix will vary from what it's been in the past, maybe up or down. And we may have less minorities in one, we may have less minority African Americans, we may have more Hispanic, we just have to see what the census comes up to be. But those must be taken into account under the Voting Rights Act that Mississippi is subject to. Those particular ones have to be taken into account, and as you know, in the past, 10 years ago, they had some what they call majority-minority districts, where minorities were the greater percentage of the vote. And those, I believe there were about 12 Senate seats like that. And I'm not sure how many House seats were like that. So those have to be taken into account in coming up with the redistricting. It's a very complicated process. But you want to keep the geographical lines. You want to make sure people actually get to vote for somebody that's going to represent them. You have certain Voting Rights Act criteria that have to be met in order for us to have redistricting in the state. So all of that is coming to fruition in a series of public hearings.
Going to have maybe a rash of sort of revoted local elections?
Well, it would be my hope that we do not. First of all, we want to get the legislature in line so that they can begin their good work. We've got tough budget issues, we've got education issues, healthcare issues, jobs issues. We want to get everybody settled in and not in a campaign mode multiple times. That's very important, I think. But realistically, we have to get this data. the actual members of the legislature will have to approve an allocation plan probably by mid to late March in order to meet all the deadlines. Then, if that occurs, then it will have to be submitted to the Department of Justice, which will have 60-day comment period. So in order for us to meet a June deadline for the legislatures, we will have to be really going through the process on an expedited basis. We'll have to have agreement among the members of the legislature in order to get that done. The first thing is we're going to have the first set of elections on time, and everybody's going to get to vote. That's the first thing. Hopefully, prayerfully, we only have to do it once. And I think there are a lot of people in the legislature who only want to do it once. This is one of those things that we will see what we see. I really don't have a prediction on how it will come out, other than we're going to have the election for 2011 on time, and hopefully we don't have another one in 2012. They're expensive. I think the expense is very important in a very tight budget year. Another one we got coming this year. But in addition to that, it's very important that the legislature be settled in. You know, that they have a 4-year, historically they've done most of their really good work in those years 1, 2, and 3, and then year 4 they're back campaigning again, and there's less things up here to go through during that last year, other than the things that are required in the budget and the things they have to do. So your initiatives and everything really kind of start in that first year, and sometimes they fail, and the second year they may pass, and so there's a time frame in there for the legislature to get together. We'll have turnover this year. We're going to have different people than are there right now.
Right.
And who really knows how many of those will be turnover. But they need time to understand the process and get part of the process and get on their committees and understand how that goes. So it's really important to me that we only have that first election, so we have a full 4-year legislative agenda.